Hey everybody, we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. I was just getting out of a trade, BNOX, it's Biotech Thursday. So yeah, hang tight, I'll be right with you. If you want to hit the poll and chat, and say hello in chat, hit the poll, that'd be great, thanks. Okay everybody, just about another minute or so. Hello Antonio from San Antonio, Texas, thanks for being here. Yeah, please fill out the poll and say hello in chat, that'd be great. Give me about 1 minute and I'll get things going, thanks. Anybody else catch that dip buy on BNOX? Hello, Shanquel, Jonathan, Casey, MD, Clive, Heather, Pierre, welcome back. Yeah, that was a nice a bit of a bounce here. I just got in at I didn't get into like 340, and then I just got out at like 402. I didn't want to stay in during the webinar, but maybe I should have, but it's okay. But yeah, anybody else trade that one? Okay, hello Robert, Shane, hello Mike. Drowning in recommendations not working. Sorry, we'll just have to keep on studying with you and make this stuff work. Welcome Eilina, John from Puyallup, Bruno, welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's get going. It's now 2:02 Eastern time on September 28th, 2023. This is live. We're going to be looking at biotech stocks today. It's just been a really hot sector. Like I said, I just finished up a trade on BNOX. A nice little bounce there. I was in at like 340, out at 402, something like that. So nice little trade before I jumped on here. Yeah, but let's go ahead and get things going. We're going to look at BXRX. We'll break these down step by step with you today. We'll look at FEMY. These are all in the healthcare biotech sector. It's Biotech Day, like double trades, all kinds of fun stuff going on today. So, and then we'll look at also AXLA. Not a ton of volume on that, but it was a big runner. And then we'll also look at, we'll talk about BNOX as well, you know. So we'll come back to those. Let me switch screens here. Hey, Maria. Hey, Michelle. Thanks for being here. Again, now it's 2:03 Eastern time on September 28th. This is live. Move my screens around. You should be able to see. Okay, so this is what I do. Basically, I have my scanners. Very simple, okay? I look for volume. So I have these set up where it picks up anything over 1 million in volume, and it picks up anything over 5% gain. And I do the same thing down here, okay? So I have a 5% loss, anything over 1 million in volume. So I'm looking for volume, I'm looking for movement, right? And I want to be very clear, when I started trading, I was always wondering, like, how do these guys find these trades? Or really more importantly, is like, how did these guys know that this stock was going to do this? You know, how did we know it was going to do this? We didn't know. We didn't know. And that's my first rule. Don't predict what's going to happen, because we're not predicting what's going to happen, but react to what's happening and really wait for the trade. So I do not recommend trading pre-market, because it typically has really, really low volume and choppy charts, and I just don't recommend it for beginners, okay? And you might feel like, oh my gosh, I could have got in at 40 cents. Well, guess what? this thing wasn't even on my radar until, you know, maybe, because you can see the volume down right here, right? So, you know, it did have this one did have quite a bit of volume, but basically it hits the radar right here at coming into like, you know, 8 o'clock, 8:30, you know, you have this spike up, right? And you get lots of volume. But then now we're just watching it, right? So this is kind of on the watch list. And I love these that gap up. So what I look for is look for a gap up, then I look for a crap down, gap and crap, as Roland Wolf calls it. And then I wait for this right here. But I'm not, you know, we're not jumping in back here. We're not trying to go from the very bottom to the very top. You'll never be able to do that. You know, like I said, some of these stocks don't hit your radar until maybe right here, and now we're in sideways chop action, right? Waiting to see what's going to happen. But what I tell people is, like, if you play like the middle of the trade, you're doing great. So on this one, we're really waiting, you know, really waiting to like right here, like 60, 61 cents. We're really making sure that the trade proves itself. So this big strong candle, that's your entry, getting in like 61. And then, I mean, this is a fast one. And this was a hard trade because it happened really, really fast, right? I mean, we're talking like within, you know, 5-10 minutes, you're in and out of this thing, and then it just runs up. I tell a lot of beginners, you know, who start trading, you know, if you just get freaked out and don't know what to do, just take 10% profit and get the hell out and don't worry about it, you know. Now, this was a 23% profit, and you might be saying, Glenn, I could have made 13% more profit. Dang you. Glenn told me to get out at 10% profit. I could have made 13% more. But guess what? You will lose more money chasing money, okay? So, you know, but my point is this. Your entry is right around here somewhere, like 60, 61. Your exit for beginners is 10%, which have been right there. For people that are a little more advanced, you had the patience or the you know, the heart to hold this thing, you know, because you know you were dealing with you know, some anxiety here, like when do I get out? When do I get out? But you know, getting out at like, you know, 70 to 75 would have been a nice 20% profit, you know. So after that, you get this, and that's what I'm always worried about, and that's why I tell a lot of beginners sometimes, you know, we're just trying to grab the middle here, you know. So sometimes it's only 10%, sometimes you can push it and get 20%, you know, and sometimes you get some huge home runs. So then after this thing basically drops back down, and you know, watching it again, you get a second trade opportunity here, you know. So about 10 o'clock, about 10:10, getting back in at like 54 cents. Again, letting this bounce, making sure you have the bottom, and then again, just grabbing 10, 15, 20% and getting the heck out before all this. Because I'm telling you guys, most of these stocks, you know, after you get a good run up, they typically just fade like this. They drop and fade, you know. So, but yeah, this is biotech's a great sector. This had lots of volume, so that second opportunity was definitely on the radar, and you know, it worked, you know. So, but the only reason we were watching this is because it had the volume, it had the news, it had the setup, and we didn't predict the setup. We waited for the setup to happen, and when the trade proved itself, that's when we decided to get in. Okay, we're not getting in way back here predicting all this. We're waiting for it to happen, you know. So let's look at FEMY. You know, so this similar situation, you know, a double trade on this one too. So pre-market, you know, again, so this isn't really even on the radar yet, right? You know, maybe this drop here would have been caught by a scanner here, and then, you know, it started to bounce back up, and then there was a nice little run up here. Like this is like a perfect example, you know, 109 to 120, basically a 10% profit, and then you get this, you know, down drop, and then you have sideways action. But there's even a better opportunity, you know. But again, on this breakout, you really want to wait till we get back over this, so not getting into like, you know, 120, well, whatever, like 124 or 125. Really making sure this thing is going, and then it nicely runs up after that. You know, getting out at like 145. Anytime I have like sideways action like this and another big run, this is my point to get out, you know. And and again, you guys are probably saying, "Oh my gosh, if I would have got out at 145 and only made 18% profit, I would have been so mad at Glenn because I could have went up to 167." But again, you will lose more money chasing money. I promise. Some of these are just better off just getting out and taking what you get and not throwing a fit about it if it keeps on going up. Okay. But again, same thing. This had some news yesterday. It had the volume. It had a nice couple breakouts that worked well. It was in the biotech sector, so those trades just worked, right? AXLA, this didn't have a lot of volume, but it certainly broke out. And you can see, I really wanted to show this chart because can you tell, so I would call this a fairly low volume stock, okay? You can see how much more choppy it is compared to FEMI is at 40 million. Let's look at BXRX, okay? It's 151 million. Can you see the difference how this chart is so much nicer and tighter as opposed to this choppy mess? But, this was a great trade though. I mean, you could have got in anywhere here. And like I said, you could have grabbed a quick 10%. You could have grabbed a lot more than that. But, this is, don't get greedy. And again, be patient. And that brings me to BNOX, okay? This is all pre-market. This thing runs huge pre-market. And then you get this drop down. I didn't get into this one till like 340. It was moving pretty fast right here, but I did get in. I held through all this, and then I got out at like 402, so what is that? Basically, roughly, what did I say, 340? So basically, yeah, I mean 17% profit. I mean that's great. Take it or leave it, right? But again, sometimes you just have to wait for these setups. Sometimes they happen later in the day. Sometimes they happen right out of the gate like this. Sometimes you get a second shot at it. But just make sure you have volume. Make sure you have a good catalyst, some news to keep that thing moving. Make sure it's in a good sector if you can. Man, there goes BNOX again. This thing wants to run. I just don't know. It just hasn't managed to get past the 450s now. But yeah, I actually like stuff like this that slowly ramps up. But yeah, maybe keep an eye on BNOX this afternoon. It could be some good little dip buys in that one as well. So, but let's go through my rules real quick. I'm going to close this out and switch over to my other screen, and then I'm going to stop and answer questions real quick too. So